Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tandiwe Menze. Welcome to this afternoon's session. We are going to take a deep dive to Web of Science. On the line with me, I have Mrs. Suriyonda, who is acting as the moderator. Please keep a lookout on the chat box as she will be posting the surveys that need to be taken at the very start of the session, as well at the very end. I will begin with a PowerPoint presentation, and then we will move to the live online searching. Okay. So this is the title slide. Basically, what we're doing this afternoon is doing a deep dive into Web of Science. First off, what is Web of Science? Web of Science is a premier subscription-based multidisciplinary citation database and research platform owned by Clarivate. It enables users to search, analyze, and map high-quality academic literature, including journals, books, and proceedings across sciences, social sciences, and the arts. It is highly regarded for its curated peer-reviewed content and citation tracking. Web of Science is widely used by academic institutions to evaluate research performance, discover literature, and identify key opinion leaders in various fields. There are two ways of accessing Web of Science through the library website. The first is by going through the database's A to Z button, and the second is accessing Web of Science through your subject guide. Once you have clicked on Web of Science, you will have to go through the SAML authentication. For staff, you will click on the staff box, and for students, you will then click on the student box. You will then be prompted to input your RU credentials. These are the same credentials you use when accessing your email or your RU connected account. Briefly, this is an explanation of what SAML authentication is. SAML authentication is an open standard based on XML that enables single sign-on by allowing users to log in once to an identity provider and then access multiple applications without re-entering their credentials. As I repeat, the credentials you will be using are your RU credentials, the ones that you use when accessing your email address, as well as when signing into your RU connected profile. Okay. This is simply an example. So I'm going through same steps as when accessing your email address. And then you click on Yes, Continue. And then you land on the Web of Science platform. Okay, we will now go to the online. Okay, so just before I go to the online, whilst I noted that to access Web of Science, you'll have to go through your SAML authentication, but when you arrive on the database, you will still need to either create a profile or sign into your profile. As you'll see that I have already signed into my profile. Okay. This is just a tip on how one would conduct searches on traditional databases. So basically, you would want to use the advanced search option at your postgraduate level, but I will take you through the various options. You will then want to refine your searches using scholarly or peer-reviewed options. You will have to use inverted commas to denote a phrase. You will use Boolean operators and or not. And then you will also have to use truncation or wildcards. These are just examples of how one would use truncation. So basically, when you're using truncation, you will type in the root term without you having to type the various examples. So when you type medic and the asterisk, your database will retrieve articles on medicine, medicines, medication, or medications. And for women, without you having to type in either the singular or the plural, you will put an asterisk where the A or the E would be. And there's an example of an encyclopedia. So this would be an example of the British as well as the American spelling without you having to type the two words. While today's purpose is to explore Web of Science, you are encouraged to use all the databases that the library has access to so that you don't limit yourself to using only your favorite databases. But the purpose for today's session is a deep dive on Web of Science. But do keep in mind that you're encouraged to use the other databases. Okay, so I am going to exit the PowerPoint so that we can do the live. Okay. Okay. So this is the library website. Remember, I said there were two options. You can either access the databases A to Z or go to your subject guide. I will only confine myself to the databases A to Z. Click on the databases A to Z button, land on the letters. So this functionality is helpful when you know the title of the database that you're looking for. In the event that you're new to the academic space, then you will want to go to your subject guide where all the information resources for your particular subject have been curated or collated, and then you will get an indication from your subject guide which databases are applicable for your particular field of study. But for today, we will go to W, Web of Science, click on Access Database, and you land on the Web of Science platform. Okay, so it's still recognizing that I am signed in. I'm going to start off by doing the Smart Search option. So on the Smart Search, we're just going to do a natural language query. So I want to search who are the experts in AI ethics in Africa, then conduct the search. Okay. So it has given me a total of 153 documents, and then it is also given me 100 researchers that, based on my search, are regarded as the experts in this particular topic. So these are the results. Remember, we are doing a smart search using natural language. It, on the left-hand side of the screen, it gives us a breakdown of the years and the document types. So depending on your preference, you would then select the applicable preferences. And on the left-hand side, it will also give you the research profiles of the people who are considered prolific in this particular field of study. On the right-hand side of the screen, it will tell you how many times a particular article has been cited, the references used, but we will go to this portion much later We're just confining ourselves to the smart text natural language function. Now, on this particular platform, you can also do searches using other languages. Within the South African context, it does not use the vernacular languages. So if you try to do a search, maybe using the Xhosa language or isiZulu, you will not yield results because presently it does not recognize those languages, but it does recognize Afrikaans. So let's do an example using Afrikaans. So basically, I want to look up the use of artificial intelligence in radiology services within South Africa. So it has translated the Afrikaans into English and it has retrieved the following results. So within South Africa, you can use English or Afrikaans, but not the other languages. And maybe if you're from a foreign country, you might try using Espanol or France and Dutch and on and on. Okay. I'm going to move on now to the advanced search functionality. So on the top ribbon, I'm going to click on advanced search. Okay. So for the purposes of this session, I am going to leave it at the Web of Science core collection. If I click on the downward arrow, these are all the databases. You can use the All Databases tab, but we're just going to confine ourselves to the Web of Science core collection. Much later, we will explore two of these. So let's leave it at Web of Science core collection, and we will leave it at all for editions. So, and the search that I'm going to do, so under publication titles, I'm going to change that. So I want to begin my search with topics. So if I search under topics, it is going to search the title, the abstract, the keyword plus, and author keywords. So I select topics and I type in my topic. Okay, going to remove that. So I want to look up ethnobotany. It's given me a total of 5,344 documents. Again, on the left-hand side of the screen, I get a breakdown. So you can see review articles, early access, open access. Further down, you get a breakdown of the years. So depending on whether you're a master's or PhD student, you would select, if you only want to confine your results to the last 5 years, you would do the selection here by ticking the boxes. If you want from the last 10 years, then you would tick the boxes. Then under document types, depending on what you're looking for, you would then do the selection up here. In terms of doing a search under years, I will show you in the next example how to, from the beginning, add the date range right on top. Okay, so you'll see that the results will highlight the keyword or keywords that you used, whether in the title or in the abstract or in the keywords that were given by the author. Again, on the left-hand side, you get a breakdown of how many citations each article has. Okay. The next example that I want to do, so I'm going to go back to search, and I'm going to remove or clear the box. Now I want to search across all fields. So when you're searching across all fields, It searches all of the searchable fields using one query. This allows you to easily find your search terms in any field. Okay. Might be advisable to keep it on all fields. And I'm then going to type in my okay. I'm just going to explain the way that I've structured the search query. This is a traditional database, so you have to use traditional methods of searching. That means that you have to have your Boolean operators, your truncation. So in the first set of keywords, I want to find social ecological systems, but then I also acknowledge that some authors might use the hyphenated as well as the non-hyphenated term, and social ecological systems also has an acronym, and I have grouped the two terms as well as the acronym in the box, and I've used and to connect it. And the next keyword is interdependent. I've added an asterisk, so I'm applying truncation. So when I retrieve results, I will get results that have interdependence or interdependent. And I've also used and as a connector. And finally, I want to, within my results, I should have nature or environment or habitat. So these are synonyms, and I've placed them or grouped them within a bracket and connecting them with an or. So remember, I'm adding the date range so I can decide on the date range. You can either leave it at all years, which means from 1975 to 2026, or let's say we want the last 5 years and search. So I have retrieved a total of 80 documents. I'm going to analyze the results. But before I analyze the results, I'm going to go back to my search and I'm going to remove the year because I want the full 177 documents. And then I analyze the results. Click on Analyze. When I analyze the results on Web of Science, you can analyze your results according to publication years, the document types, the researcher profiles, the authors, the Web of Science categories, citation topics, sustainable development goals, or the Web of Science index, or according to affiliation or publication titles. But now I want to point out the sustainable development goals. So we're analyzing all 177 results according to the Sustainable Development Goals. So you can see that there are 120 publications under Goal 15, Life on Land, 98 under Goal 13, which is Climate Action, 104 under Goal 14, which is Life Below Water, and on and on. So let's do another example. Let's have document types. So there are 154 articles, 21 review articles, and 3 conference proceedings and on. So these are all the groupings, and you can download. I'm going to click on the download tab, and I'm downloading the visualization. And if you are writing maybe for your proposal, You can then save this and include it in your proposal. I'm going to go back to my results. I'm going to click on Analyze Results again. And I'm going to go to Web of Science categories. And I'm going to click on Download. Oh, under Visualization, you have the option. So now we are doing a tree map chart, or you can have a bar chart. That's also your personal preference. And if you hover your mouse, it tells you exactly how many. And of course, you can also download the visualization. And there, and you can also save this and add it to your proposal. Going to go back to my results. And we're going to click on citation report. So you want a citation report on the results that you received. So from the 177 publications, you have 8,158 articles, which are the citing articles, and the without self-citations, 8,112. And if I hover my mouse or click on the eye, it gives you an explanation. So citing articles would be, this is the total number of citing articles. Citing articles have cited one or more of the items in the citation report. Without self-citations, this is the total number of citing articles, but with those citing articles that also appear in the citation report removed. And there's a little note. I'm going to move on. So number of times cited, total 8,752, an average of 49. Without self-citations, 8,674. And if you click on the I, the total, this is the total number of citations to all items in the results set. This equals the sum of the total column in the table below. The average per item, this is the average number of citing articles for all items in the results set. It is the sum of the time cited, count divided by the number of results in the set. Without self-citations, this is the total number of citations, but with citations from other items in the citation report not counted. And then we move on to the H index. And there is a brief explanation of the H index. The H index value is based on a list of publications ranked in descending order by the times counted. Okay. And these would be time cited and publications over time. So in 2009, you had 4 citations from 3 publications. And you can also download the citation. Yes, they combined. Also visualization. And there you have it. And you can copy and paste this in your research proposal. Okay. Okay. So I've shown you the analyzed results. You can export a full report. Yes, so all the articles can be added in an Excel sheet. Okay, I'm just going to call it test. and I want all of them, and I want an Excel and export. So it's downloading. So these are all the titles. So it's telling you the source title. So this is where the journal publications, the names of the journals where the article is published, the date of publication. This is the date of publication. And the volume and the issue and the DOI. So without you having to create this, you can export it into an Excel and save it for further use if you need to analyze. No, I don't want to save it. Okay. So the next portion that I want to show you, I'm going to go to the search platform. And I want to show you how to create alerts. So basically what I've shown you now is these are all the publications that have been published. But if you want to keep up with research within your particular field, then what you want to do is you want to create alerts. In order to create alerts, you need to have logged into your profile so that you can save the alerts on your profile. So depending on your field of research, if there is a new publication in your area of research, then you will get alerted maybe 2 weeks from now or a month from now that there is a new publication within your area of research. This is going to help you in the event when you don't want to keep coming back to the database to replicate searches. So what you're going to do is you're going to do a search now and then save the search alert. And when there is a new publication in that field, then you get alerted. So as I said, you need to have signed into your profile. As you can see my name on the right-hand side, and we are now going to undertake various searches. So you can create search alerts for keywords. You can create an alert for either your supervisor, or if you have read extensively already, you can create alerts for the prolific authors you've identified within your field of research. And you can also create alerts for all the lecturers or academic staff or researchers within your department. And you can also create an alert for yourself. The next alert that you can create is an institutional alert. So you can create an alert for Rhodes University as a whole if you want to keep track of the research output for Rhodes University. You can also create alerts for a journal publication. If there is a favorite journal publication where maybe you have published in previously, or when doing your extensive literature review, you've identified that maybe one or two journal publications publish work that relates to your field of study, then you can also create alerts for those journal publications. So if the journal publication is a monthly publication, you will then, when you set the alert today, you will get an alert for May coming into your account telling you that this is the table of contents for the month of May. If the journal is a quarterly publication, then you'll get alerts quarterly. That means you'll get alerts 4 times a year. If it is biannually, on and on. Okay. So now that I've explained what the alerts are and the various examples of alerts, let's go ahead and create alerts. So we're going to do that together. So I've clicked on the advanced search. I am deleting the previous, and now I want to create an alert for water resource management within South Africa. So I am going to do a search first. So hypothetically, this is my field of research, and I am leaving it, the search option or search parameter, I'm leaving it at all fields to search across all the fields. And I'm not going to add a date range because we are creating alerts for future articles that are going to be published. That would be future articles, whether book, chapters, whatever that's going to be published under the subject or domain of water resources management within South Africa. Click on search. So presently, these are 509 documents that have been published. So in addition to this 509, if there is a new publication coming out in 3 weeks' time, you will then get alerted that there is a new publication in that particular field of research. Now that I've done the search, I click on Create Alert. That is on the right-hand side of the screen. So I am creating an alert for this particular search. So I need to give my alert a name. I'm going to use the keywords. Now, this is your own personal space, so you get to decide which keywords you're going to use. Also, you can also manage the alerts, but I've set it to weekly, and it defaults to the email address you used when creating your account. And okay. The next alert that I'm going to create, click on search. I'm going to create an alert for a researcher. So she is in the Faculty of Commerce, and under the search parameters, I need to toggle to author. And this is my researcher. I also like to add the institution. So I will go to affiliation, and I'm going to add Rhodes University. And search. So these are here 11 documents, and then I create the alert and create. Okay. And the next alert that I'm going to create, so click on search. So I want to do a cited reference search. So I'm going to look for a particular article. So I'm going to click on cited reference search. Oh, okay, it's recognizing my previous searches. So I want to do a search. He's also in the Faculty of Commerce for Dr. Antoni, the cited author. And the title of the article is The Role of Family Structure on Financial Socialization Techniques and Behavior of Students in the Eastern Cape, South Africa. I am putting the full article in quotation marks and click on search. So this is the article. It has already been cited twice. So you can look at the two articles. Perhaps they might also be relevant to your particular field of research. So these are new functionalities on Web of Science. You can do a comparison on the cited references, but I'm going to invite you to do that on your own time. I'm not going to do that now. I just wanted to point out. And you can also view related records, and you can analyze, but I'm not going to do that because we already did that in the very beginning. So I'm going back to the article. Okay, advanced search. Okay, so I showed you how to do a cited reference search, but I'm going to go back to my field search. I want to look up title. So I'm going to look up the title. Okay. Simply means I need to delete the comma. See, okay, I had an extra there. Okay, so that is an example that you need to be very careful when typing in your keywords so that you can get results, because you can see that I had an error. There was a comma that needed to be removed, and there was an open quotation mark that also needed to be deleted. So depending on the keywords I use, the letters, whether I'm using the correct spelling or incorrect spelling, then that determines the results that I get, or it determines the zero results that I might get. So then I'm going to create the alert. Maybe let's just leave it at the name. Don't want to type in the full. I'm just going to say create there. So every time that this particular article is cited, I am going to get an alert that this article has been cited. Remember, in the first example or previous example, I created an alert for a researcher. So when you create an alert for a researcher, that means that you are going to get alerted to a new publication from that researcher. Or you'll remember in the previous example, the researcher we created, Prof. Snowball, she had 11 publications. You're also going to get alerted when someone cites one of those 11 publications. So when you create an alert for a researcher, you get alerted to new publications by that researcher, and you also get alerted to new citations or new articles citing all her work, which means all 11 publications. But in this particular example, I have done a search for an article published by one of the researchers in the Faculty of Commerce. So here I am only going to get alerted when this particular article is cited in another publication. So there's a difference there. If I want to get alerts, new alerts, when Dr. Antoni publishes a new article, then I would need to create an alert for Dr. Antoni, the name that is. Okay. The next alert that I'm going to create, remember I said that if you have identified a journal publication and you want to create alerts for that particular journal publication, then you need to create an alert. So we're going to search for a publication, a journal title, and then create an alert. So let's click on search. I'm going to remove this. So the parameter publication titles. So there it tells you searches for journal titles, book titles, proceedings, on and on. So just going to leave it at publication title and the Journal of Agricultural Search, and you create an alert for the journal publication. So we're going to type in the journals create. Okay. And here you can, so if I hover my mouse, you have the option of viewing the journal impact. Let's just have a look. So this is the journal impact, and it tells you that is the definition of what the journal impact is. The second option, you can search within Web of Science. So for this journal publications, these are all the articles published within this. So on Web of Science is indexed a total of 52,208 articles that are published within this particular journal. Oh, it's articles, review articles, and you also see there are conference proceedings, little notes, and early access. And you get a breakdown of the researcher profiles. This would be the prolific researchers. So now I'm going to go into my profile because I want to view all the alerts that I created. The profile would be on the left-hand side of the screen. So you click on Saved Searches and Alerts. So these are all the search alerts. The search alerts are listed alphabetically. So these are the various researchers. This is the recent one. Remember, we created this one, and that is the title. So here it says it's active. You can deactivate it, make it inactive, which means that while the others are active, you are going to get alerts. If it's deactivated, then you're not going to get an alert. So it's not going to tell me new articles citing this particular article. So I need to enable the alert so that I can receive emails. And here under more options, it tells you the date when it was created. You can add a description if you prefer. Under edit, so this is the email address. So let us say hypothetically you are working in a research group. So you can add, in addition to your own email address, you can add additional email addresses. Okay. And here, continue to receive emails when there are no new results. No, you only want to receive alerts when there are results. And here you can remove. So if you want to delete this alert, you can simply click on the remove button and delete. So it has been deleted and it has been removed. So the others are example of journal publications. Remember, we did searches for journal publications. And when there are new alerts, you would then get alerted. If I just scroll to the bottom, so there is one for Rhodes University. So this will give you alerts from across all the faculties because I haven't made a distinction. So across all the faculties, and there's Prof. Snowball. Remember, we created an alert earlier for her. Oh, these, I was just doing little tests, as you can see, and I can go ahead and delete these if I don't want them. I'm going to go back to the advanced search option. Okay. So remember earlier when I started, I said that we were going to confine our searches to the Web of Science core collection. So if you prefer, you can identify other databases where you can do your searches. Remember, I also said that you can search on all the databases. That is your personal preference. So let's just do an example. So there's ProQuest dissertations and theses, and it gives you, there's a little blurb explaining what ProQuest dissertations and theses is. So we are selecting ProQuest dissertations and theses, and we are going to search for, so we want dissertations and theses on computer security threats. Oh, okay, the example is already there. So it says topic. No, I don't want the topic. Let's say, oh, topic, title, author, year of publication. Oh, and you can also select the degree type and the department, but we are going to leave it at topic. We're just going to leave it at topic and then search. And we are not going to add the date range. We just want to explore the topic. So there we have 7 documents within ProQuest dissertations and theses. Now, I wouldn't encourage you to focus only on the ProQuest dissertations and theses database, which is available through Web of Science. Remember when I did the PowerPoint, I said it's advisable to not to confine yourself in one particular database, but to explore the various databases that we have access to. So I'm just going to compare this ProQuest dissertations and theses through Web of Science with this one that is found on the ProQuest platform. I did the same search for computer security threats, and from the 11, here we have 155 results. Now, these are theses and dissertations globally. So if you confine yourself to ProQuest dissertations and theses on Web of Science, do you see how many other valuable results you're denying yourself? So this is an example of why you are not encouraged to confine yourself to one particular database. But let's go back to Web of Science because today is Web of Science, dedicated to Web of Science. Just want to show you. So on the results that I have on the left-hand side of the screen, it's giving you the degree type. So there's doctoral 4, master's 3. And again, the dissertation and thesis subject. These are the subjects. So for data mining, so depending on what you're looking for, you can tick the boxes: data mining, education, and then refine. And there it's giving you 2 results. So from the initial results and the countries. So these are the countries where the theses were produced. If I go back to the ProQuest platform and I look at the country location, so from Web of Science, it gave us 1. So I'm just comparing the 2 databases. Oh, I think the reason it's doing this is because I think I did the search over an hour ago, so it kicked me out. But let's just repeat it. So we're going to institutions. So remember on Web of Science, it says that there's only one from the US, but if you have a look on this platform, there is more than one from the US. Okay, let's go back to Web of Science and let's do an example for another database. Okay, let's go to Medline. Okay, under Medline, I want you to search for heart stent and search. And I only get 6 documents. No, I also know that we get Medline from another database that we subscribe through to, which is EBSCOhost. Now, I did not do an example on EBSCOhost just to compare the two, but I'm sure there are more results on EBSCO comparable to Web of Science. This is just another example of not confining yourself to one particular database. So on the left-hand side, I just needed to, so for those in the biological sciences, these are the mesh headings. So let's go to stents and refine. And these are the results under mesh headings for stents. Okay. Let me just check. Okay, I'm keeping a watch out for the time. Let me point out one other thing. So whilst we're on Web of Science, especially at your advanced level, under products. So when you are ready to publish an article and you want to get an indication of which journal publication to use, on Web of Science, you can have a look at the master journal list. So here you can match your manuscript. So when you've completed your manuscript, you can click on the box and input your manuscript, or you can do a title search. For some strange reason, when I did the example earlier, it did not work. And when I tried to log in, it also did not work. So this is just another anomaly when databases just choose not to work. So we can't go any further. But this is going to be reported to our technical services team so that they can investigate. But I just wanted to show you under products the other tools that are available for your use through the Web of Science subscription. Okay, I will end there. I just need to have a look at my script to see that I have shown you everything. Yes, I do believe we had a look at everything under Web of Science. I need to point out that you can go to the training portal on Web of Science, and these are just links. So if you need a refresher, you can go and have a look at these training sessions. Remember, I showed you how to do alerts, how to analyze your results under analytics, authors, first steps, and on and on. Okay, before I close, on the left-hand side of the screen, under the profile, okay, so you can create a profile for yourself. In fact, when you create an account, it automatically creates a profile. I haven't populated my profile, but you can populate the profile and you can link this particular profile to your org ID. I'm not going to speak too much on org ID because that's going to be done later. So this is what you can do with your profile. You can add all your publications. So when you've created your profile, you can add publications. If Web of Science indexes one of the articles that you've published, it will automatically add the publication on your profile. Okay. And you also, because I've signed in, it keeps a record of my search history. If I haven't saved it, my search history is kept. And you can repeat the searches, or you can delete, or you can even share the results if you're in a research group or you want to share the results with your supervisor. Okay, I'll end there and I will take questions if there are any questions, but I do believe that my colleague, Mrs. Rionda, has been adequately manning the chat. So if there were chats, she would have responded to the chats. And just a bit of housekeeping. Remember, there was a diagnostic survey that you needed to take at the very beginning, and Mrs. Rionda would have added this link to the summative that you need to take now that the session is over. And I would like to thank both Mrs. Rionda as well as Mr. Alistair Sampson for his technical support when needed. Okay, I will exit and have a look at the chat. Okay, there are 6. Let's see. Okay, read AI. Okay, message from my colleague. Good day. Oh, this was at 14:36. And I see that Mrs. Rianda responded to it. Challenges with sound. Okay, Mrs. Rianda has added the summative survey. Okay, we will wait till 14:30 if there are any questions, or you can unmute yourself and ask a question. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much, Tandy. I just need to rush off to another meeting. Okay, thank you for attending. Your attendance is very much appreciated. Okay. I will keep the chat open if there are any questions. Okay, thank you everyone for attending. This is very much appreciated. And do note that the session has been recorded. A recording of the session will be uploaded on the library's YouTube account. This will be shared by Ms. Toby Lemtetwa. If there are no further questions, we will then log off. Thank you for attending. Your attendance is very much appreciated. Thank you and the best of wishes with your studies, and take care. Goodbye.